Hello there. In this episode of I Hate Cycling But I'll Try It, I confirm cycling is at least quicker than running. Just. And I find new reasons to be thankful over Thanksgiving weekend. Well, here's an update on my cycling since my last video. Update number 1, I still hate cycling. Update number 2, look at this, look. I've been wounded for 4 weeks from a fall and it stopped healing. It's like there's a purple jelly bean inside me. Cyclists are a crazy group, and in this episode I hope I get to relate to them a little bit more. First, I had a talk with a friend I call J1. He's a premium brand of athleticism, having qualified for the Boston Marathon, and earlier this same day, he competed in an 11-kilometer road race. After a quick talk, he agreed to waive his $500 appearance fee, as long as I mention RunWaterloo and their new racing series, Run Pure and Simple. Now, my bike is one of those 18-gear bikes, but it likes to dither between 1 or 2 gears. If I'm lucky, it can find a 3rd gear. So off we went, and with the downhill advantage, I bolted to an early lead, the athleticism of J1 on full display as he pounds the concrete. Using the onboard GoPro, we see I'd run into a few barriers along the way holding me up. From cars blocking my cycling lane to buses large enough to block out the sun. All these pale in comparison to my irrational dislike of hills. I hate hills. Without any extra gears, my legs flail away like a toddler, avoiding his parents' attempt at getting his shoes on. All while my foe pounces and he closes the gap. J1 didn't have it much easier with cars blocking the sidewalk and the fact that he's competing against someone that's sitting down. But this man's a competitor, with intergenerational speed propelling him forward. And if we fast forward to the end, you can see he got alongside me, and from my vantage point, I even saw him creep ahead. But then Trusty Rusty found its secret weapon, the 3rd gear. Feeling the seismic waves thundering from this runner, our camerawoman stepped back. We can conclude after this test, if you want to travel in a circuit and go nowhere, cycling is still faster than running. Well, if it can do that, what else can it do? Why not try a 100-kilometer journey? I think that's naturally the next step. Mom invited me over for Thanksgiving supper, and I got the frying pan out and put together some French toast as an easy calorie grab for the journey.
Margarine, yes, it's all you ever need. Margarine, yes, it's all you ever need to cook.
Before setting out on my bike, I always try to create an excuse not to do it. And then I go through each of those excuses and convince myself that either they're not good enough excuses or I resolve the reason they're an excuse in the first place. So for this task, maybe I was too tired. I didn't have a good enough sleep the night before. Again, that's not good enough. So that goes in the not good enough pile. Maybe I was too hungry. So you make some French toast and pack that away in some tin foil and you're good to go. Maybe it might rain. Could rain. Bad weather. You just bring gear. If it's going to rain, you go ahead and you make sure you've got a coat. You just push on. I checked the weather. Weather looked fine. If it was going to rain, it was only going to be for a couple minutes. What if it was too cold? That was the big thing for me. What if the wind was just too cold? So that's where I had to make sure that I had a sweater and one that I could cycle in without feeling too bulky. The last concern of mine was time. I looked at that one on the list and I went, this one might have me. Maybe I can't do it because there's not enough time. So I checked in with my mom and I said, I'm coming over. I think I want a bike. When are you expecting the rest of the family? Turned out it wouldn't be for 7 hours. So she removed my last excuse. With no excuses left, all I could do was grin and bear it. Shortly after I started, I see a bit of rain coming down, and my excuse train starts running. Oh, if you were in a car right now, this wouldn't matter. Think of how cold you're gonna get with that rain soaking your clothes. You know it's not too late to turn around if you want to be an adult and drive a car. Thankfully, that's as bad as the rain came down. As the weather improved, I started getting a rhythm going, and soon I was pounding the mileage. I was thankful for the beautiful fall day, thankful for the next to nobody on the road. Also thankful that Google had given me such a clear and simple route I couldn't possibly make a mistake. Well, except that once. Overall though, it was nice. I didn't need to GPS myself once on this trip. I was prepared and knew that this silly mountain bike could push on no matter what lay ahead. Part of this trip had me go down a path called Hickson Trail. I'll read to you from their website how they describe it. Hickson Trail is a 12.7 mile lightly trafficked out and back trail located near Woodstock, Ontario. It features a great forest setting and is rated as moderate. The trail offers a number of activity options and is accessible year-round. In reality, when I got there it looked like this. For once I was thankful I had the wrong bike and the chunky tires of my bike chewed through the overgrown trail with ease. The trail did improve and finally evolved into the trail shown online. I took a break out here and stretched out on the grass, snapping a pic of my tired self, loving just laying out there in green grass, not having to cycle and giving my butt a break. I even left the bike unattended in front of a Woodstock gas station, just hoping I'd come back to it stolen. But it wasn't, so I continued on towards Mom's. This stretch was brutal. My cell phone couldn't keep a stream going, so I lost my entertainment, leaving me with no distraction from the reality that this is a terrible idea, that I was really doing this. My legs were just finally starting to feel that lactic acid building up that more athletic people talk about. I couldn't sit comfortably, the drawstrings from my bag were digging into my shoulders, but I was beyond halfway. It would be pointless to turn back. I pressed on, hoping my cell phone signal would return. Then as I turned onto a gravel road, I felt something. Just at the edge of the frame, in my spectacular videography skills, you can see my brake pad, or whatever cyclists call this piece. It's been jarred loose, and it's now rubbing into the rubber of my tire. Thankfully, I have skinny hands. So I went in there and with no tools, just wiggled the nut back into position so I could continue my ride. Going down these gravel roads and my time earlier on that trail, I started to wonder, am I the only one crazy enough to be outdoors today and not in a car? Oh, I bet he's comfortable right now. That is a comfy looking seat. But despite the headaches and this brief moment where I actually jumped off the bike and walked it up the hill, I made it to my mom's. The next day, cycling back to Kitchener, I feel my foot slip off the pedals. Okay, maybe legs are rubbery. I mean, we're over 150 kilometers at this point. Maybe my body's just given up coordination. I just need to take a nice long break. I laugh it off and I keep going. My one foot continues to slip off every once in a while. I reach the end of my journey. I'm back within walking distance of my house, and so I hop off, and I get my first look at what's actually happened. I talked it over with my mom, and we laughed about the suggestion that I just steal a pedal off a bike back at the farm. I went ahead and spent a little money on an adjustable wrench and a new pedal. This was my first time mending something on the bike properly. If I'm going to go on a trip like this out east, I need to talk to someone that's done it before. So I sat down with Tyler Cadman and asked him a few questions. I wanted to know a bit about this trip that you did.
Well, I cycled across Canada with 2 other guys. It took 52 days. My butt hurt for all of them. And it was about 7,000 kilometers coast to coast.
That's intense.
It was stupid.
with what you've done on this trip, what was the charity for that you helped
It was
out?
called the Heartwood Place, and they build affordable housing for people here in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Oh, so it was all for a local cause. If you're going to repeat something like this, what did you learn from this that you carry into the next one?
Having some sort of a soothing gel that you can put on your butt.
Okay.
Probably had that from the beginning. Then we had a 4-day stretch where it was 10 degrees-ish and raining, and that was terrible.
From what I've heard about this trip that I want to do out in Newfoundland, doing it in June is one of the rainiest times of the year to do this, and it's not going to get much higher than about 12 degrees. So your worst days sounds like it's going to be the focal point of my trip here.
Well, I guess the good thing about that is the worst days make for the best stories.
Yes.
You're going to hate it.
I'll take that.
Uh-huh. But the payoff is you get to complain more, and everybody likes to hear about someone else suffering.
Even people that have done enormous cycling seem to dislike the actual cycling portion of a trip. But they hold a bizarre optimism, and I still don't get it. In a future video, I'll be interviewing some people, and I'm going to try and sort out why is cycling a thing. If it hurts so much, why did they do it? If you liked this video, please give the channel a subscription, because I'm going to need your help. In the next video, I'm going to be evaluating a few gadgets and going over my requirements of what I need for this trip. I'll need your help in choosing what I bring with me. Thanks for watching.